So my homegirl, Ali Brown, was the guest artist for the GameAC season of Freedom. And I had a live chat with her and I found it just so inspiring and kind of, that like inspiration where, you kind of like in the call, I kind of wanted to tell her, okay, stop talking. I need to go make this immediately. Like I wanted to shut her up so I could run to my journal. Anyway, in the chat with her, one of the things she spoke about is how she keeps what she calls joy notes. And in her joy notes, she keeps inspiration from herself that she can refer back to. So she includes, images of art journal pages that she's made that she's loved. She includes any small details that she's done that she wants to include again in the future. It's a really awesome way, instead of, if you're like stuck on what to do, instead of scrolling through Instagram, looking through Pinterest, you just open up your little binder and search through your own stuff and get inspired from yourself. I also feel like it's a good way to see how far you've come. Just in general, being inspired by yourself is such a good thing. And I feel like that definitely helps you develop your own style more. Once you create more, you do more and more and more, and then you become kind of deliberate about it. So that is what I'm going to do with this amazing, amazing album from Citrus Twist. And this album I feel like it's the perfect size. It is traveler's notebook-esque. It's got these beautiful pockets, all nice and fresh and ready for me to put some stuff into it. And then I can write something over there. So I'm going to use my Arch Enemy fabric Mod Podge. And I'm going to use my cheapest paintbrush. So the cover's all dry, and I'm going to put in a bunch of stuff that I've collected over the past while. I collected this heap of paper and pictures and photos of my art and all various things. I've been keeping them for ages because I didn't know where to put them, and then I found this magical album. So I want to add some text to the front, and I'm going to use these alphas that came with the January kit, and I take forever to do this because I can't quite decide what I want. Then I realize I don't know as much about the word as I thought I did, so I write it down a million times. I put it down in a million different combinations until I finally settle on one. So I decided that I'm going to keep everything in these pockets because it's just easier that way. If you are the type of person who has a 6-hole punch, then punch all your different pages. You go for it. In front of me, I have collected various things that I've made in various forms. I have these joy notes that I practiced writing in all different styles. I also have this transparency. It is modeling paste on top of there. I have this, which is actually from an old art journal page with fortune note on it. I've got a whole bunch of paper ephemera. I've got photos of previous art journal pages. I have some words here by Meg Journals that I wrote in my handwriting. I have photos of me creating. I've got photos of me with my art. And I think I'm going to use this one for the very first one. Now this is just the way that I'm going to put mine together. Yours is going to look different, I hope, obviously, because I've got your stuff in. But I really wanted mine to be like a real life pinboard. You know, when you're pinning things on Pinterest, it's not a lot of effort, it's super chilled, you're pretty lazy about it. So I kind of want this to be like that. Also want whatever I put in to kind of be the star of the show. You know, I don't want to add a lot of scrapbooking embellishments. I don't want to decorate it too much. I think the most that I'm doing for planning and putting things in is that I want the two that are facing each other to kind of match. If I've got, for example, a picture of myself making some art and I have the actual art, then I'm going to put them next to each other. Now that I've got this all set up, I think I'm going to tend to go chronologically as well. So I have this paint chip, and I've really been loving these blues lately. So I'm going to include that in here. This picture behind is actually some modeling paste on probably Moleskine paper, and I just took a photo of the texture and then I printed it out. And I printed it out on Moleskine paper just to give it a little bit of interest. These bad boys are actually a very good example of how inspiration leads to more action and how you can be inspired by yourself. When I did the Creative Bug class back in, I went there in July. One of the things that Lauren and I did when we were deciding what to teach is we went through our old art, and this stuff, these little they're watercolor pools, and then I make that pattern out of them. These I had been doing basically on repeat. I'd been taking photos of each iteration of it. I had been completely playing with them, and yeah, so I had like a whole bunch of photos saved onto my computer of them, and these made the cut. I taught something bridging from this in my Creative Bug class. I've also kind of been making more and more of these pages and this kind of technique and developing it. It started really as a pool of watercolor with a really great brush, and then it turned into something more every time I used it. And I think part of the reason for that was because of how intentional I was about it. I really enjoyed doing it, and so I just kept on doing it. Now I'm putting together a few of my favorite things in the pile. I feel like vintage ledgers and old book pages and old German things really will always inspire me and will always be a part of my work, as well as fortune cookies. Maybe not fortune cookies, but definitely I really like the words of them. I like the boost. They tend to speak to me. I know they're mass produced, but I kind of believe in them. But yeah, so those are not necessarily things that I've made, but they're definitely, those are leftovers from another project that I had. So I am putting them in here just as a reminder. You know, maybe in like a few months' time I haven't used them at all, and then I don't know what to make, and I go through this and I'm like, oh yeah, remember I used to make pretty much every single art journal page with a doily or with vintage ledger paper, and that might spark something for me, and that is what a catalyst is for. So this page, this also has a pretty cool story. That page, I didn't know what to make, and so I wanted to turn inspiration into action and Kate is an artist. Kate Sherwood is an artist who inspires me greatly. I don't think any other artist inspires me quite as much. And so I wanted to make something similar to her. So I chose her kinds of colors and I picked up from her and I made it mine. Now obviously it's got a picture of me, has to be mine. But that I made something for that and with that, and I made it in my silver room, which is like a low barrier to entry type of thing. And yeah, so I just took a photo of it and I cropped it down so that it fits the size and I stuck it in. And I feel like cropping also gives a very new perspective to our art. It gives our art a whole new life. It helps us look at it in a different way. And it's definitely a good exercise. That little transparency, I also cut it down, and I'm definitely keeping those little pieces to use in something. This was a square and I didn't know which side to keep, so I just kept both and I'm going to just put it in. And this is another example of cropping where I had made a vintage journal for a friend and I didn't really want to let go of it, but because I loved it so much. So I just snapped a picture and then I could remember how it looked like. I can remember if I wanted to make it again. I can remember how it made me feel. And that went in. So that's another good example of how you can use this. If you're gifting things to your friends, just take a photo of it, take it up close, take it from different angles, and store it for later. This is something that you're going to be paging through. It's something that you're going to be paging through, taking out, adding things in, adding lace that you really can't stop using for every single cover, for every single book that you have. But I think it's a good way to create ideas and to be a catalyst and to be your own catalyst, which I think is so important in this digital age where it's so easy to open Instagram, to scroll through Pinterest, all of these things. And I have this really lovely card. I feel like, okay, it's not my art, but I used this kit in something else and I loved using this kit. And so I love this reminder. So yeah, I'm totally allowed to use it. And here's me going by default trying to put a scrapbook thing in. But no, this is just for my art, this. So I dare you to take a few of these ideas that I've given for this and to turn it into your own catalyst journal or joy notes or self-inspiration, whatever you want to call it, self-Pinterest, whatever you want to call it. Clearly doesn't have a good name yet. Maybe you can help me out with the name. If you've got a good idea for a name, leave it below. I like catalysts for now, but yeah, you let me know. Have fun.